What's good, Maryville? Welcome back to the Droppin Dimes podcast. I'm your host, Noah Cooper, joined as I am every single week by my man, Perry Randle. How we doing this week, Perry?
Man, I feel amazing. All-Star Weekend was one of my favorites of all time, and I may be kind of biased just because my man Jermaine Cole performed at halftime. But my favorite player in the league right now, Giannis, he was a team captain, went against Team LeBron. And I thought it was an entertaining weekend overall. I know a lot of people might say otherwise, but I just think All-Star Weekend is getting better every single year.
It was a hell of a weekend that opened up with a great Friday night Rising Stars game and a great celebrity game before that. I didn't watch the celebrity game, but I heard a lot of good things about it. Did you watch either of those events, Perry?
It was garbage all the way until the last 7 minutes. The Ray Allen's team was down by 17, and out of nowhere, I forgot the one guy's name. He just kept stealing the ball, and then it comes down to the last shot. It comes down to free throws, actually, and Ray Allen misses the second free throw to try to get a shot, and they missed. But it was a good ending.
Hey, he made the three-pointer when it counted in the finals, so I'm sure he wasn't really too disappointed about missing that one.
I think that game is more for names, first and foremost, and then after that little charity 4-point line.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool if in the celebrity game they really went out of their way to get big-time celebrities to come to the game because a lot of years you got a couple big names. You know, they've had Justin Bieber in the past. They had Quavo this year. I think it'd be really cool, though, if they really went out of their way. If they really wanted to get the audience up for that game, I feel like they could pull some big-time guys for that.
I think that game, his peak so far might have been the years where it was Kevin Hart, J. Cole, Nelly, all those guys.
Well, Kevin Hart, that guy won the MVP 4 times, and I think his team lost like 3 of them. He had like 4 points a game.
It's fun when you have those names, though.
It's cool.
Yeah, he's just out there shooting around, has a horrible night.
I think it was like Kevin Hart versus Usain Bolt or something, just dumb.
It was some crazy stuff, but I think those years are probably the best years. These last couple years, we've had Quavo. We've had a lot of.
Well, Famous Los, I believe, won the MVP.
He did
this year. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I think it's shifting more to like social media stars, rather than actually celebrities. So
I think we saw like Rachel Demita last year. You know, the 2K TV host from last season.
I would have loved to see her again. Her beautiful self.
Hey, she wasn't half bad either.
Hey, she's beautiful, man.
I think like Quavo crossed her up too or something.
He fouled her. Right. She did something, hurt her.
Yeah.
He said, "Let me make it up to you on a date."
What a legend, man. All right, so you obviously watched the celebrity game. I didn't quite get to watch that, but I did watch the Rising Stars game after that. Definitely a good game with the Team USA team coming out on top. Something I didn't expect to happen. I felt like the international team usually tries to do a little better. I know they won last season with Bogdanovic winning the MVP. This year, Kyle Kuzma won the MVP of that game, and I thought that was a pretty good game as well, Perry.
Well, honestly, I thought that was a great game specifically for Kuzma. I think with this Lakers team in a dismal right now, trying to figure everything out, it's important for the second star supposedly to, make a name for himself, especially on the big stage, All-Star Weekend. He has the potential to definitely be an all-star for years to come. But it was just great to see him go off. He had 35.6 rebounds. So it was very entertaining. We had a bunch of alley-oops as we expected, but it was great competition throughout the entire game.
Yeah, and my man Lauri Markkanen, he scored 21 points, so that was pretty cool to see.
Here we go.
All-Star Game's going to be in Chicago next season, so I'm hoping that can be his first All-Star appearance. I'm sure they got to get a couple more wins for that to actually happen, but I'm hoping that can be his first one. I know you just mentioned Kuzma's stats there. You can kind of tell early, I feel like, in All-Star games, in the Rising Stars game between Team USA and Team World, which player wants to go after the MVP, and I feel like Kuzma was that guy a lot of the game. I think he took 20-some shots in that game, the most shots out of anyone, so you could really tell that he was going after the MVP early.
Yeah, you could definitely tell he took 27 shots, so he was definitely out there chucking it up, but it was going in, so that's okay. But then there was guys like Trae Young for Team USA. He had 25 and 10, so that was cool to see. He had a couple nutmegs, so that was fun to watch, but honestly, overall, it's such an entertaining game, especially with this new generation coming in. We know that LeBron is on his way out. KD, he's getting older, and we're about to see this new echelon of talent. So it's always cool to see all these guys put their skills on display on the big stage.
Yeah, and your man De'Aaron Fox, too, he had 16 assists, so he was dishing out the ball quite nicely in that game.
We're on our way to the top. I keep trying to tell you, man, and I'm keep saying it, man. We're on our way.
You know, at this point, if I was to bet Lakers over Kings, I might almost be swayed towards the Kings at this point. I don't know how I'm saying this, but I almost might be favoring the Kings at this point.
We need to go back and listen to the past few shows when you've been just going hard on us, but now you're a fan, man. It's okay.
I think 5 games into the season or so, they started off 5-0, and you were hyping them up. I was like, nah, man, just give it a month, all right? We'll see where they are in a month. And I think in a month they were like still 6th or 7th in the conference. They're still hanging in there right now, and it's kind of between those three California teams right now for that last spot. De'Aaron Fox looked pretty nice in that game, and, you know, I think the Kings have a really decent shot at that.
And us picking up Harrison Barnes makes it even better. We just feel great right now. But let's get back to All-Star Weekend, man. Don't let me go on a tangent off the Sacramento Kings because we already know we're going to the top.
Well, that's what happened Friday night, If we want to move to Saturday night, it opened up with a great Taco Bell skills challenge. I think probably, in my opinion, my favorite skills challenge I've ever watched. I don't know if you got to watch it, Perry, but I thought it was an absolutely amazing skills challenge that really came right down to the buzzer right until the last man.
That was insane. I mean, Jason Tatum, he knew what he had to do. He knew he was behind, so he just chucked it up from half court. He got the dub, man.
And I think Reggie had been saying that. Reggie or Kenny, one of the two, had been saying that the whole time, you know. I just want to see a guy who's way behind throw it up there from half court and then see what happens. And that's exactly what he did, and he cashed that thing.
They spoken into existence, and it happened. I'm also glad for a guy like Jason Tatum. I feel like he's kind of had a lost season this year with the Celtics after having such a strong rookie season last year. And I just think that they need to figure out something to get this team back on track, especially with Kyrie, his impending free agency coming up this summer. So I think that was good for him. Just to get back on the right track. But like I said, man, that was such an entertaining finish, man. They cheated my guy, De'Aaron Fox. We know we were supposed to get the trophy.
All right.
Hey, Sacramento, we coming, man. Just wait till we host the All-Star game, man. I'll be there.
You know, I really thought Trae Young had that in the bag. As soon as I saw him, well, I didn't pick him before the competition, but as soon as I saw him, how hard he was trying compared to the rest of the competitors, he was going all out. I was like, you know what? I think Trae's got this. As soon as I saw him in the first round do that, and it really did look like he had it, and he probably would have made the three-pointer anyway, but Tatum kind of ruined that for him. Was there anything that stuck out to you besides the finish there in the skills challenge at all?
Honestly, I just love the idea of having big men in there. I think it's a great twist. I think Jokic was in there. And just watching it, I mean, I'm always a fan of the competition, the trash talk that goes on in between the lines. But at the end of the day, it's all fun. It's all for entertainment. And you can really tell. And it just happened to play out to where we got to see a half-court shot in this one. So.
Well, what did you think of before the skills challenge started? I think they had Ludacris. He was standing on that box. And then you had Karl Anthony Towns. Ludacris wanted to be taller than Karl Anthony Towns, so he hopped up on that box to pick the teams for the skills challenge. What did you think of that?
I didn't get to see that, so I don't know anything about that. But it sounds like it was fun. I know Ludacris is a big fan of the NBA, so whenever he's involved, it's definitely a great time. Cat, I'm not a fan of him right now, but we're working on it. But he had a great game in the All-Star game. He had a couple good dunks, so I was a big fan. But I didn't get to see that part, but I'm pretty sure
Ludacris walked out on that stage. I was like, hold on, is that Ludacris out there? I said, what's he doing on the stage? Yeah, and they said, he's like, all right, Ludacris is going to pick the teams. I was like, he's going to do what? Because I think in the past it had always been guard versus big man,
right.
if I believe. And that kind of propelled the big man to really go all out to try to beat the guard. This time I think a couple big men faced each other in the first round. They were kind of going slow. But otherwise, I really thought the skills challenge was, in my opinion, my second favorite event of the night. And if they keep this up, it might even move to my favorite event. Now, my favorite event this season was the three-point contest, directly following that. And I thought it was a really cool thing by the NBA this year where they got Glenn Rice and Del Curry and Ray Allen to go out there and shoot three-pointers for charity before the event started. That's something I've really wanted for a while, to get past players. I even spoke about this on Weekend Sports Kickoff. I said, how cool would it be if you got a guy like Del Curry to go out there and participate in the three-point contest or lend his hand a little bit? And that's exactly what happened. So I thought that was a really cool gesture by the NBA there.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was definitely shocked just because I didn't hear any announcements about that happening before the three-point shootout, and then especially having these guys that either played for the Hornets in their past, or I don't know what Ray Allen's connection is to it, but I know he's a three-point knockdown shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So
and he missed every single one.
That's okay. That's okay. He was there for fun. He's a name, and it was just definitely cool to see. And that just shows me that the NBA is definitely for the people. They're always trying to raise money for charities, and they're trying to give the people what they want. And that's what I love about Adam Silver, because whenever David Stern was the commissioner, we didn't see any of this, all these changes. It was kind of the same thing each year. And not a knock on David Stern, but it just is more praise to Adam Silver for going out of his way to make the All-Star weekend better each year.
Yeah, for sure. And I really enjoyed not only the pre-3-point contest, but also the 3-point contest as well. It had a lot of big names. It had some underdog guys. I think Joe Harris was a guy that a lot of people weren't necessarily predicting to win before the contest started, but we saw as the contest unfolded that he was definitely a standstill knockdown guy.
This was the only contest where I did not pick my man Sacramento Buddy Hield to win it, but Curry, that's the guy I picked to win it, and he was down to the wire with Joe Harris. And, man, I thought it was going to go down, but it was not to be, man. But Joe Harris, like you said, the underdog, came in from Brooklyn, just knocking down shots. And I think that's the biggest thing in this contest, is that when you're not known as well as these other guys, you have no pressure on you. So you just kind of just go out there, and it's kind of just what you do in practice every day. And I think that's what Joe Harris really benefited off of. And now everybody knows his name now. I didn't know who that guy was until he came to the three-point contest. Yeah. So now I know him.
Well, he is the second leading three-point shooting percentage guy in the NBA this season, directly behind Bertans of San Antonio, who I was surprised wasn't picked for this event because they did extend it to 10 competitors this year for the first time. They had always done 8 before this since the induction of the three-point contest. But my guy before the event started was Seth Curry. I really thought that, kind of like Dell alluded to before the contest, you've been living in your brother's shadow your whole life. I want you to win this. And I was like, you know what? I want Seth to win this too, And we saw the exact opposite of that happen, as he only came up with 16 in the first round.
It was not to be. We know who the better Curry brother is. Probably the best Curry in the family is, and that is Mr. Stephen Curry. But like I said, man, that's who I was rooting for. That first time he went and he was shooting, man, I was like, oh, yeah, we're good. I should have gambled in Vegas on my guy, but next round, Joe Harris just steals the show.
And you know what? It almost looked like for a while there that Steph Curry was going to be the guy to steal the show, because he started off 9 for 9 from 3, and the crowd started going crazy. And Steph Curry's the type of guy that I think when the crowd heats up, he doesn't really cave into the pressure because he's been in those under pressure situations before. But it almost looked like he did cave to the pressure a little bit after that, as he missed his next 4 shots after starting off 9 for 9. And then it was kind of he kind of had to really try to get back in there. He made 4 of his 5 money balls. He would have needed 5 of his 5 final money balls to tie. So disappointing finish for Curry, but big time for Harris to come up with that victory. And then your guy Buddy Hield finishing 3rd in that competition with 19 points in the final round.
Hey, Sacramento's on the rise. What else do I need to say?
For sure, Perry. Now, the event after that, in my opinion, the worst event of the night, but there was a couple memorable dunks, and that was the dunk contest. Perry, what was your overall opinion of the dunk contest this season?
I'm always a fan. I think we're getting to a point where we've almost seen every dunk, and we're just seeing it from different angles. And I think that's what a lot of people, like on Twitter, are getting frustrated with, is just that we're seeing the same thing every single year. But for me, I love it just because this half of the stuff they're doing, the people on Twitter, they wish they could do. Mm-hmm. So they're out there doing honey dips over Shaq, jumping over J. Cole. That stuff is insane, whether they miss or make. I get that we want to see all the makes in the world, and we just need something to complain about. But I love the slam dunk contest every single year. Of course, there's years that are better than others for sure. But at the end of the day, I'm always appreciative of the creativity that these guys are trying to show the world on the big stage. It's a lot of pressure. to do some of the things they're doing, like John Collins when he tried to jump over the plane. That's such an amazing idea.
Keyword tried.
He tried, man. Knocked off
plane.
A piece of it, man.
Yeah,
disqualified.
The airmen out there.
But that was cool. That was a cool idea to me. I just love seeing creativity, whether you see the dunk or not. I know he can make that dunk in his sleep. It's not that I'm doubting him now. It's just now I'm like, oh, man, I wish I would have just saw it. But after that, you kind of just move on.
Yeah, like you said, it seems like a lot of people have gotten tired over the years of people doing the same dunk a lot of times in a row. We've nearly seen every single dunk. That's what I think was so special about the dunk contest a few years ago with Gordon and Levine, because those two guys were doing stuff that we had never seen before and we haven't seen since then.
Right.
We haven't seen a guy do an in between the legs from the free throw line. We haven't seen a guy. What else did Levine? He did like 3 dunks from the free throw line. He did like an in between the legs from the free throw line. He did like a 360 from the free throw line. Just stupid stuff, stuff that like we have never seen before and stuff we're never going to see again. And like how Gordon did when he jumped over the mascot and did the put his legs all the way up. I mean, I remember seeing something on Twitter that he had jumped. His legs were up higher than the bronze medal in the 2012 Olympics for the high jump that season. And this guy dunked the ball after that. So that's what I think made that dunk contest so special. And then I think this year, I think it was almost when I was watching it anyway, I just got the sense of boredom, like especially when they start missing a dunk and missing another one and missing another one. And then it takes like 5 tries to get it done like Dennis Smith Jr. did. I think last time when he competed in the dunk contest, it was a lot of the same story. He tried to do a really cool dunk, but he just never got it done. And I think that's what really makes the coolness factor of the dunk go a lot down when it takes him 4 tries to get it.
I mean, and I think that's just what comes with having an event that's every year. You're going to have good years. You're going to have bad years. It's just like having a president. You're not going to always have a great president, even though we voted for you guys. It's just part of the game. But at the end of the day, we still saw some amazing things. I mean, whenever John Collins grabbed the backboard and did a reverse dunk, I was like, whoa, I've never seen that before. And then Diallo, he jumps over Shaq.
I thought that was the best one of the night.
Of course, with the honey dip, and then he rips open his jersey for
that was
Superman.
Nice.
It was cool.
I was disappointed. He before he dunked it, he showed the Superman. I want to see that after the dunk. Right when you jump over Shaq, no one knows you rip your jersey open.
Yeah, I completely agree. When he did it before, I was like, "Oh, he got the Superman," and then when he dunked, I was like, "Oh, I wish he would have did it when he was like hanging on the rim." Mm-hmm. But I mean, I enjoyed the dunk contest. Like I said, there's gonna be good years and bad years. This wasn't the best year, but it's just like comparing the Levine contest to Michael Jordan whenever they was dunking. It's like they could do those dunks in their sleep now, but it's just part of the game. We're getting better every single year.
Well, and then something too, I think Kenny talked about it, is it's not necessarily the dunk too, it's how you react to the dunk.
Right.
If you freak out after the dunk and act like it was the best dunk ever, even though it might have been a subpar dunk, people are going to react to it differently because you made such a show about it.
Right, and I think that's what happened with I think Oladipo a couple years ago. He just had the Black Panther mask, and that his dunk wasn't that great. But since he had the Black Panther mask, everybody's like, "Oh man, this is great!"
Or like everyone remembers Blake Griffin jumping over a car. He didn't really do anything
that was
special.
Yeah.
But everyone remembers this man brought a choir out on the court.
Yeah.
He brought a car with Baron Davis in it, and he jumped over the Kia, and that's something that everyone talks about to this day, how great that dunk was. But really, was that dunk that great? I mean, probably not, but he just had the show all around it, which is something that made it so cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're getting better every year.
Yep.
I wouldn't worry about it. People on Twitter, relax. It's okay. We'll be back better.
We'll be
Chicago.
back, and we'll see dunks that we haven't seen in a long time.
I do have a theory though. LeBron would not have been good in a dunk contest.
Wouldn't have?
He would not.
I think he would have been.
I think he's an in-game dunker.
I think he would have been great. Even if we would have seen some of those in-game dunks, I feel like they would have been better because you have a guy that's going to throw it down with the force of LeBron James.
I mean, but like I've never seen him do any like crazy dunks. He really does like basic dunks.
He did one. It was in a pregame a couple years ago. It was all over Twitter. I mean, I forgot what it was at this point, but he did this crazy dunk in the pregame. I think it was his last season with the Heat. And it was just an insane. Everyone's like, get this man in the dunk contest now. I think after Shaq saw that, he put out the $1 million bribe to him. He's like, I'll give you $1 million.
Magic Johnson.
And Chuck was like, I'll throw in some money on that. I thought that was a big possibility then. But it seems like we're seeing, after the game, it seemed like Giannis, and it seemed like Donovan Mitchell were really interested in doing it next year.
All right.
I saw on Twitter.
I think LeBron, I really think he's an in-game dunker. I think the same thing with Russell Westbrook. These guys, they just throw it down with so much ferocity.
Yeah, so much force.
Yeah, and then if they were to do it on a big stage, it would be like, oh, okay.
I don't know, man. I'd like to see it, though.
I mean, I think we would all love to see it just because we love the names and everything and what they do in the games, but I don't know what they could do as far as creativity. I think it's going to be plenty of props if those guys would ever participate. But a guy like Giannis, and maybe I'm biased because he's my favorite player, but I think he would be pretty good just because of his length and his long arms. He could probably throw it off or put the ball on top of the backboard and go up there and get it and dunk it. So I think he would be a good one.
Jump over a ladder or something.
Donovan Mitchell, he's a weird one. I don't know if I really enjoyed him. I think I enjoyed his.
He was all right.
I think I enjoyed like his antics after dunks, like whenever he had the Vince Carter jersey on. But I think next year is going to be a pretty good year. We're in the we're in the town of Mr. Michael Jordan.
Well, everyone knows that Zion's going to be competing in it too, right?
Hey, fingers crossed.
He's
you never know.
He's going to be competing.
You never know.
Hey, he better be competing.
I think he'll be good. I think he has some flight to him. I don't know if he'll be a good basketball player, but I think he's a good.
You don't know.
I don't know.
We know.
Because of what he's doing against students.
Because of what he's doing against students. That's how we know. All right.
We'll see. I don't know his basketball IQ and all that. I just think he's miles ahead of them as far as athleticism right now.
Yeah, I think he's miles ahead of them in a lot of different categories.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but
I think a guy like LeBron would dominate him easily.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, we're talking about a college guy to a seasoned veteran.
I'm talking about if they were both in their primes. Of course, we're probably never going to see that. But if they're both in their primes, I think LeBron would dominate him. I don't think that Zion will be on the level of those other guys.
I think it's going to be really cool to see his development over time, and especially that's all starting, obviously, next season with his rookie year. So hopefully we see him in the dunk contest next year. I think that'd be something really cool.
How great are the guys that come from Duke?
What?
How great are the guys that come from Duke?
Hey, this man's different.
Oh, okay.
This man's different.
I mean, we got some great guys. Got J.J. Redick, Grant Hill. I mean, none of those guys ever won a title.
Hey, we'll see with Zion, all right?
We'll see, man.
It's a different story, all right?
Hey, I love the show he puts on, but I don't know if he'll be a good basketball player.
Hey, let's move on from Zion and talk about the meat and potatoes of All-Star Weekend, and that was the All-Star Game that happened on Sunday. It looked like Anthony Davis might not participate in the event. He eventually ended up doing so, and it overall was a very, very great game. I thought it was really cool to see LeBron's team be down by so much, and then it seemed like they had that concerted effort to get back into the game, and I just really enjoyed the season's All-Star Game.
It's just another LeBron comeback, his team and everything. But no, for real, I enjoyed the game. It was just entertaining. I thought Team Giannis played pretty good, and another knock on Steph Curry for not having one of his best games in All-Star Weekend once again.
I always, for some reason, I got this theory. This man just doesn't care about the All-Star games at all.
He was shooting terrible towards the end of the game. I'm
the man always does. Like, I don't understand. I told you last week you picked him. I was like,
man.
For some weird reason he sucks in All-Star. I don't know why.
I don't know, but I know that man Kevin Durant, he had himself a game.
Giannis though. That man's going to win an All-Star Game MVP at some point.
Oh, I already know
that. He
just
got to win the game. That's his biggest challenge.
I honestly think if he should have won it, but his team just lost.
Yeah.
He had 38 and 11, and KD had 31.
I had like the first 16 points. They were all dunks.
Giannis isn't like a walking show. So whenever Curry bounced the ball and it went super high, he just goes and gets it. That was amazing.
Watching that live, it was almost like he stopped in air. It was like I was watching the entire thing in slow motion. Like he went up, and I was thinking in my mind, there's no way he gets this down. And he just stopped, waited for the ball, grabbed it, and went down with it. And I thought that was like one of the best dunks I've seen in an All-Star game.
I loved it. I think it was cool to see LeBron James and Dwayne Wade get that alley-oop, both to each other. So I thought it was cool to see that. It's kind of reminiscent on their years in Miami.
And we got that new picture now,
right? Dwayne Wade was looking back this time, so it was cool to compare. Dirk Nowitzki, he was hot for a second there, knocking down threes back to back to back. He just on fire.
Which is what we want to see.
Hey,
in the
Dirk
All-Star
for
game.
MVP, man. That started off pretty early with
I
Luka
thought
Doncic.
Chris Middleton might get the MVP.
He was
for
on
a
fire.
While. He was like 5 for 5 from 3.
I think he had 17 at the half.
Yep.
I was like, sheesh, man. The Bucks, man, they might be the real deal.
I knew Giannis really wanted that MVP when not only he started out 8 for 8, but he was like he would have wide open layups and he'd be dishing out to anyone possible to get those assists. He was trying to stat pad like none other. I was like, are we watching Russell Westbrook out here, or are we watching Giannis Antetokounmpo?
But I did know that once they put in the Mr. 7-foot cheat code at the end of the game, I knew. I was like, okay, Team LeBron, they're about to make a run.
Yep,
So
which is exactly what they did.
That's exactly what they did. KD made, I think, 2 threes, couple mid ranges. I was like, no.
Well, one guy, in my opinion, that was kind of maybe this. I never really saw anyone talking about this. Maybe it was just me watching him out there. I really thought Damian Lillard was kind of playing like a ball hog all game. Maybe that was just me, and I love Damian Lillard, but I just thought from the start, I was like, man, this man's really trying to go after MVP. He started out shooting horrible, but he was still chucking them up there. He started off like 1 for 6, and he just was shooting. I was like, dang, man, pass the ball. This is an all-star game, and you're taking contested threes.
Hey, if you get voted in there, this is what I hate like about other guys like LaMarcus Aldridge, and no knock on these guys, LaMarcus Aldridge, Al Horford whenever he's an all-star. I want to see some entertainment. So my man Damian Lillard, of course he's missing, but he's pulling off from the logo. That's what I want to see.
He got pulled up. I was like, oh my god.
Go ahead with your bad self.
This guy's such a ball hog in the all-star
he finished
game.
with 18. I'm a fan.
He was on fire in the 4th. He hit that deep one, that heat check.
He was part of the run that got them back, and then KD came in and finished it off.
I think if you remember that really deep 3 he hit, I think Team Giannis hit a 3 to bring it back to 3, and then Lillard hit this 3 from like the logo, like you said, cashed it, brought it to 6, and then I think Team Giannis was like, yeah, screw
also,
it.
I want to know when Kawhi Leonard started shooting like that. That man hit turnaround threes back to back. I was like, what the heck? And they were just feeding him.
I'm telling you, he can do it.
That was amazing.
I'll be telling you, he can do it. Don't worry about my man Kawhi.
He's been working in New York, boy.
It's those New Balance shoes.
I guess.
Did you see his commercial?
I saw it. It was pretty bland, and I
thought
it was perfect.
I thought it was good for him.
I thought it was perfect.
You know, Kawhi, he's a guy that, like, I feel like he doesn't get enough flack for, like, sitting out all last season just because he didn't want to be in San Antonio, and then he got traded. Now he's an all-star again. So I just feel like that man doesn't get enough flack for what he did to San Antonio.
He's okay, man. Look, he's a Finals MVP. He's multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's proved his game. He doesn't care. Hey, it's all right. He's back in action now.
Bro, I love those shoes, though. I really do.
You do?
I do. I think for Kawhi, like, and I love how it has
Do you love the idea or the shoe itself?
A little of both, really. Like, the shoe is so, like, I think the idea just ties into it, too. Like, I don't know if I'd go out of my way to buy the shoe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go out of my way to buy the shoe whether Kawhi's name was attached or not. But I think the idea really helps it out a lot. And I like how on the back of the shoe, it's got, like, the Times New Roman font, like, Kawhi on one shoe and Leonard on the other one. It's got, like, a period after it. Like, it's just some perfect Kawhi and Leonard combination out here.
It's so bland.
And it's, like, black, white, and red. Like, the 3 colors you'd expect to be on a Kawhi and Leonard shoe. Like, I know he's in Toronto, but you'd expect, like, some bland colors like that.
It's perfect for him. But I love how All-Star Weekend turned out. Ernie Johnson, he suggested that they should have on Saturday night. They should have Taco Bell Skills Challenge, the slam dunk contest, and then the 3-point contest. And then he said, let's have the draft the night before the All-Star game. That would be very entertaining. Have it on the court,
and all the players can be there. Do you like pick the players?
He said they're there anyway. Yeah. Why don't we just do the draft?
That's a good idea.
The only thing I could see wrong with it is not having that practice before the game that they have on Saturday morning. Yeah. But that would be such a great idea to have that.
But it's like, is that practice really important at the same time?
No, it's not.
Yeah, so like, I mean, they could get it done.
That's a great idea though. So hey, Adam Silver has done a phenomenal job as the NBA commissioner so far. So I only see him continue to improve All-Star Weekend for the people, man. That's what it's about. It's for the people.
And I didn't know too that was one of Chris Paul's ideas to have the draft and stuff. I thought
I
it
didn't
was
know.
I thought it was all Adam Silver, and then they said last week like Chris Paul brought the idea up and he accepted it. So like I mean, what a job for him to accept that. But what a great thought of Chris Paul to be like, you know what, we should have a draft for these players to switch it up a little bit and bring a little more excitement in the game.
And I haven't kept too many tabs on how Chris Paul has been doing, as I think he's the president of the Players Association,
and he has
Players
been for
Union.
a while too, yeah.
And it seems like he's doing a great job. I think.
Well, except they kind of messed up a little bit with the cap situation and how it went up so quickly, and then it kind of screwed his guys out of getting the money they probably would have gotten.
Don't
anyway.
Tell Otto Porter that.
Yeah, don't tell Mozgov that.
They're having a good old time. They love Chris Paul.
Hey, that's why he keeps getting reelected.
Hey, that's all right.
It's the same people from that 3 years ago, that free agent class. They're all like Tyler Johnson and Otto Porter. They're voting him in every single year.
That bag, man. Thanks, Chris. But I mean, I just see it continue to get better, man. Like you said, Chris Paul and Adam Silver, they're doing a phenomenal job of communicating and trying to figure out what the people want, how we can make this thing better each year. I also love the NBA All-Star Weekend, having J. Cole, having Meek Mill. These guys are like kind of fighting to be like activists in the community for stuff that's going on. So it just shows me that the NBA really cares. I know they have something that says NBA cares, but they really do, just because you can tell that they're listening to the people.
Yeah. Well, what'd you feel about that J. Cole concert, Perry?
Oh, you already know how I felt. Come on now. Don't ask questions you already know the answer to. It was phenomenal. It was the greatest All-Star halftime I've ever seen in my entire life.
I can't even remember a past All-Star halftime.
Exactly.
So you're
gonna remember this one forever, man.
He played some classics.
I was impressed that he played "Love Yours." That's a big one. I liked it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's not like a really upbeat All-Star game type of song,
And that shows me that he's just like staying true to who he is. He always wants to give out a message rather than trying to get everybody to shake their booties and all that. So
and something like, I feel like some of the songs that he played, I feel like those aren't really necessarily easy songs to be rapping on a big stage like that with all the people that he had watching, all the fans that were there, like that "A Lot" verse. It goes pretty fast. It goes pretty hard, and he didn't miss a beat on that verse at all. So I thought that was really cool by him, that he didn't pick easy songs to be rapping. He picked his hits, and he really stuck to them. And I think he did a phenomenal job. Same with Meek Mill as well. I thought he did a good job with the introduction too.
Yeah, I love what the NBA is doing. They're giving a voice to these guys. We know that guys like LeBron, Chris Paul, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade, the Banana Boat, they all have a voice, and they use it as much as they can to show that we care about what's going on in the community. And apparently the NBA does too. And that's why they had guys like J. Cole. Of course, they're in his hometown as well, but it's at the perfect time because we know what they're going to sing about.
Yep.
And that's what Meek Mill did. I'm a big fan of both. So, man, I love All-Star Weekend, man. I had a great time, man. Yeah. I wasn't even there, but I had a great time.
It is a good time. And, I actually looked into, I was like, what are the tickets looking like for All-Star in Charlotte?
Oh, it's insane.
Because I was like, I kind of want to go next year. And in Chicago, because I was like, that's kind of close. And I looked about an hour before the game, and I don't know if ticket prices go up or down an hour before the All-Star game. I'd assume down almost, because people want to get those sold before the game. Right. But to sit way back for the All-Star game, it was $1,600, like way in the back row. To sit in the 100 section, I want to say it was 4,000, 5,000 area. So, I mean, you're going to be spending a pretty penny if you want to be going to All-Star game. And I'd assume Saturday night is probably a lot of the same story. Probably a little cheaper, but still a lot of the same story.
Man, unless the good Lord blesses me with a bag, I'm going to have to take some loans out if I want to see All-Star Weekend.
I'll be watching the Chicago All-Star Weekend probably from my couch once again.
That's all right. As long as you are enjoying it, you can't complain, man.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important parts, is enjoying the All-Star game. And I think that's exactly what Dwayne Wade and Dirk Nowitzki did this season, it being their last hurrah, as you would say, being in the All-Star game this season.
And I think, Dirk, he's having a good old time. You don't know if this is his last season.
That's what he said.
He just keeps saying, look, if I feel good, who said this is my last season?
I said, damn. He really finessed another All-Star appearance out of the NBA.
He's having a great old time.
He's gonna announce next week. He's gonna be like, all right, one more year. You're gonna get it next year too.
Might have a part 2. Hey, that's all right.
He's out here finessing All-Star appearances out of the NBA at this point.
The way he was shooting those threes, I wouldn't mind seeing him again. He's fun.
He airballed some in the 3-point con. He airballed 2 of them.
Did.
I said, hold on, Dirk.
Hey. I'm a fan.
I remember Bellinelli, he airballed a couple, and he won the competition, too. And they weren't close airballs either. They were like a mile off.
It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish.
For real. For real. So, Perry, I want to ask you one more question before we end this podcast here, and that is, do you have any ideas that you would like to see implemented in the future to the All-Star game? If I had one, I would pick no conferences at all for the All-Star game. I would just say pick your best 30 guys out of the league. Instead of doing 15 for both teams, just pick your best 30 guys. Do you have something that you'd like to see added onto the All-Star game? Or All-Star weekend, I guess, in general?
I love the idea that Ernie Johnson had about having a draft on Saturday night. I think that would be a cool idea as well to have like the best 30 guys, just because the East is terrible, man. Mm-hmm. They're getting better. I'll give them credit. They're getting better, but there's guys in the West that for sure deserve to be an All-Star, and they're missing out just because of their conference. So I would definitely love to see them take conferences away, but honestly, I couldn't tell you anything off the top of my head. I don't have any ideas. Maybe I need to go home, sit on the toilet, and think about it for a couple hours. But I don't know, man. We'll see. But I just know that.
You say hours?
Yeah, a couple hours, man. I spend good time on the toilet.
How long you sitting on the toilet for?
I'm enjoying my time, man. I scroll. All right. But it's not about that. That's personal time.
You having the toilet seat imprint on your booty.
Hey, man, get out of my business, man. But hey, NBA All-Star, it's getting better every week, every year, and I'm enjoying it. And I know that's continuing to get better, especially with these guys like Chris Paul, Adam Silver at the forefront. So we'll see.
For sure, man. And I think that's going to wrap up the Droppin Dimes podcast today. Shout out to All-Star Weekend. Shout out to Adam Silver, like you said. Shout out to Chris Paul. Shout out to everyone that was involved.
Shout out to J. Cole.
Shout out to J. Cole.
Shout out to the toilet I sit on, man. Let's get this money.
Hey, shout out to everyone involved. And shout out to you too, Perry, for making this Droppin Dimes podcast special. Wrapping up another episode today. For Perry Randle, I'm Noah Cooper, and we out on the Droppin Dimes podcast.